guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Jenny Love, and today I am going to do a little bit of an unusual video that's kind of outside my realm of videos. You know, most of you know that I usually do, wandering and exploring videos and news and updates and interviews and 50 Linden Fridays and, stuff like that. But today I'm going to do kind of a different video and let you all in on what I have done in the past and the paths that I have taken in Second Life all these years to get to where I am now. And, I have had people in the past, ask me quite a bit that question, Jenny, how did you get to where you are today? And what did you have to do to get there? And, things like that. And lately, for some reason, I really don't know if it's coincidental, but out of absolutely nowhere, I have had several people ask me that recently. So yeah, I basically am going to, talk to you guys about all of the obstacles that I have, jumped over, and the roads that I have walked down, and all of the things that I had to do to be successful in Second Life and to get to where I am. And, just all of the hurdles and all of the drama and all of it. I'm going to reveal it all to you guys. And, I don't ever usually discuss my real life. But today I'm going to actually get into that just a little bit, as my real life, kind of sort of leads to what I do in Second Life. So guys, for those of you who are interested on, how I got to where I am today, and if you want to hear about all the drama and the hurdles and the obstacles and, all that good stuff, stay tuned, guys, because I am going to tell you all about it. Alright guys, so I guess I can start off by saying that, for those of you who know my avatar in world, I believe Jenny is only about 8 years old, but I've not been in Second Life for 8 years. I have actually been in Second Life for 15 years. I started playing Second Life back in 2005. So it was almost 15 years, not quite, but almost 15 years, basically almost since the beginning of Second Life. And let me see, how did I learn about Second Life? It's actually kind of a funny story, how I came to realize that Second Life actually existed. First of all, I have always been a Sims fanatic. Like, I have been playing Sims since The Sims 1 came out when I was like 17 years old, guys. I'm not as old as a lot of you think I am. Let's just say I'm not in my 40s yet, okay? I got one more year to go and then I'm over the hill, but let's not push that issue too much right now. But yeah, so I have always been hooked on playing The Sims, and I am the person that literally has every expansion pack, every stuff pack of every Sims game ever made. The Sims 1, The Sims 2, The Sims 3, and The Sims 4. However, I do not have the latest Sims 4 expansion. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I have been so busy in Second Life lately that I haven't really had a chance to really look it over and see the trailers for it and stuff like that. I know it's something about magic, so I can't wait to check that out whenever I get time, if I get time, of course. So, back then, I remember thinking to myself quite often, you know how fun it would be if The Sims, became like a platform, a multi-user platform where, instead of, computer-generated Sims interacting with your Sim, it's actually another Sim that you're interacting with that is being controlled by another person. And I always used to think that way, and how cool would that be if we could do that? And then I heard about Second Life, and I was just like, yes, I was blown away. So I was on my way to work one day, And again, this was back in 2005. And I was listening to the radio, and the DJ on the radio was talking about this game that he had found online called Second Life. And he was talking about how he attached like this humongous giant flexi penis to his avatar. And as he was running around world, he was like smacking people with it. And it truly was a flexi penis. Like, it was like flopping around as he was running, and it had the bump scripts. Remember the old bump scripts where you would like hit somebody with something and it would send them flying? That's what he had in his penis. So he was just like running around world, just like hitting all these people with it, and they're flying everywhere. And he's telling this story, and I am just dying laughing, you guys. And I'm trying to drive to work, can't concentrate because of what he is saying. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy is sick. Like, what in the hell is going on? So of course, you know, I go home and I download it. And, you know, let me just tell you, when I opened it up, and this, again, guys, this was before all of the viewers came out, you know, like Black Dragon, Firestorm, Phoenix, Singularity, all that. It was just a Second Life viewer. So, I was confused. Oh my God, had I not been more confused in my life, I don't even know. Like, everything was like just a different language. Like, not literally, but you know what I'm saying. Like, back then, you know, things weren't so advanced. So when you open something like Second Life and you're just looking at the screen and you're just like, oh my God, what do I do and how do I do it? Like, I had no idea. I had no idea what I was doing. For example, the pause button on our stream for music, you know, up at the top right-hand corner, you got the button that you can press play to listen to the stream music. I literally thought that that was a pause button for the game, you guys. Like, I thought that if I pressed that it would pause my game in Second Life. And I could get up and go do what I had to do and whatever and come back. And I don't know, because I think at that time, the place that I was at when I pressed it, either my volume was off or there was no music on the sim. I have no idea, but yeah, it was really weird. But anyways, so, you know, of course, like anybody else, after a while, you know, I'm playing around with all of the buttons and options and menus and whatever else. I eventually got the hang of it, you know, for the basics. And, you know, back then, Second Life, it was exciting because it was new. It was definitely something new. It was a platform that allowed, you know, all of us all around the world to get together. But if I am not mistaken, I think when Second Life first came out, it was only available to download in America. I don't think that it was available to download in other countries until maybe a year or two, maybe 3 years. I don't know how far after Second Life started. I know it wasn't that far after, but even at that point, when, you know, anybody could use Second Life from all around the world, the majority of the users were still American players. And then, you know, European players started coming in, and then there was, at one point, more European players than there were American players, and now, as you know, there is an abundance of us from all over the world in Second Life, which is just amazing to me. But, you know, I eventually got bored with it, you know? I mean, again, back then, there wasn't a lot of opportunity in Second Life. It was kind of new. So to start a business of any kind, you know, it wasn't really in the realm of possibility. It was difficult, and it wasn't something that we thought we could do at that time. You know, if you were to start a business in Second Life way back then, it was most likely a club. Because that's basically all there was back then in Second Life. It was just clubs and shopping. Literally, that is about it. Like, there was literally nothing else in Second Life. So, you know, again, because I got bored with it, I basically stopped playing it. You know, and at the time, in real life, I worked for Ford, and it got to the point to where I was working a lot of hours because around that time, my real life husband had gotten into a very bad car accident, and we almost lost him. Knock on wood, thank God we did not. He is still here with us. And he, you know, he's well, he's doing good. And he was out of work for quite a while because, you know, he was hurt very badly. And So, you know, again, I worked for Ford and I had to add extra hours into everything to try and make up for, you know, the income that he was losing. So I didn't even have time to play Second Life at that time. So again, I stopped playing for, I would say, about a year or two. Was it? About 2 years, I would say. And after that, over, you know, the next couple of years after that, I had found myself randomly downloading the Second Life viewer from time to time, you know, to see if anything had changed in it, to see if it had advanced, to see if I was, you know, interested in playing it again. And, you know, that's exactly what I would do. I would download it, I would play it for a couple of weeks, and then I would get bored with it and I would uninstall it, and it was like a vicious cycle like that over and over again over, you know, a good 3 or 4 years, I would say. You know, I had met friends and I was doing the whole club scene and just having a good time and hanging out. And, you know, again, for me, I'm sort of kind of a workaholic. I prefer to work rather than play. Unfortunately, because I wish it was the other way around. You know, a lot of people wish that, but they can't help it. But anyways, so yeah, I always knew in the back of my mind, though, that Second Life had an advantage in there for me somewhere. I could never pinpoint it or grasp exactly what it was, but, you know, it's like a feeling that you get about something, but you don't understand it. Like, I don't know, like every time I downloaded Second Life, I'm like, I know that there is something on here that can benefit me. Like, but I can't figure it out. Like, I don't know what it is. So I never really tried to push the issue. I just, you know, just kept on playing it and deleting it and playing it and deleting it. And then eventually, we had made a big move and we purchased a house, and you know, that just became my life for a little while. So I didn't play Second Life again for a while. And then I decided one day to download it again for probably the 50th time. And when I did, it wouldn't let me log in. And I was like, whoa, what in the hell is going on right now? It was trying to say that my password was incorrect and all this other stuff. So I didn't know if maybe I was hacked or if maybe I just simply forgot my password, but I knew that that was kind of unusual because I always remember my passwords. I actually have a lot of different passwords. I use different passwords for every account that I have on everything. But I have a very good memory, so I remember all of them. So I thought maybe I just forgot the password. So I made a second account, and lo and behold, Miss Jenny Love was born. And I started, you know, just playing Second Life using her. And then all of a sudden one day, probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months after creating Jenny, I remembered my password for my old account. And her name, by the way, was Beautiful Gorgeous Milev. And and I actually got the name Beautiful Gorgeous off of the show Jimmy Neutron. I don't know how many of you remember the show on Nickelodeon, Jimmy Neutron. One of the, what would you call it? I guess avatars that Jimmy Neutron had created in the show. She was like this sassy woman, and her name was Beautiful Gorgeous. So that's the name that I gave my very first avatar. But anyways, yeah, so I finally remembered the password and I logged in, and I'm like, you know what, it's too late now. I already have Jenny going. I have some friends that I've made on Jenny, so I'm just gonna stick to Jenny and use my original avatar for, like, you know, traffic purposes, or you know, just to kind of get away and, you know, do things in Second Life without being bothered by people that Jenny is friends with and stuff like that. So a few months after I had created Jenny, actually it was a little longer than a few months, I would say about maybe a year, maybe a little under a year after I created Jenny, I went to check out this new club that I heard about. It was called Isobar. ISO/BAR, Isobar. And I walked in and the owner was there and he was talking to me and he was telling me about the club and stuff like that. And mind you, at this point in time in Second Life, I had still not had a job in Second Life. So I knew nothing about working in Second Life. And he was the nicest person. I'm still friends with him to this day. His name was Marcel. And he offered me a job. He said, are you looking for a job in Second Life? And I said, what kind of job? And he laughed at me like as if I'm supposed to know what the hell he's talking about, right? And he said, well, we're looking for hosts if you want to be a host. And I said, well, what does the job entail? And he explained it. And I said, sure, why not? I'll give it a try. So my very first shift, like, there was literally no training involved. Like, nobody trained me, which I thought was really weird. And I went in the next night for my first shift, and I was hosting a DJ, obviously, and he messaged me, and he goes, can you please put out a notice? And I was like, what the fuck is a notice? So I did not want to let him know that I was like clueless on what he was talking about. So I just went along with it and I was like, oh yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem. And I'm like messaging all of my friends. I'm like, you guys help me out. What in the hell is a notice and how do I make one? Like, this DJ asked me to quote unquote put out a notice. How do I do that? So, one of the managers at the Isobar at the time had come in because when I went in for my first shift, again, no training, but there was also no management staff there at all. Like, it was just me, the DJ, and the crowd. Like, I was just literally thrown in, you guys. So again, one of the managers ended up coming over and explaining it to me and helping me out with it and stuff. And I got the hang of it, and it got to the point to where I loved it so much that I was there all the time, even when I was not working. I got to know the staff, I got to know the regular crew that came in, and I had such a great time with them, and I just never left. I became one of those people that was on Second Life for like 6 to 7 hours straight every single day. So it got to the point to where, Marcel was like, well, hey, you're already here all the time anyways. You're doing such a great job. You have a lot of dedication to the club. Everybody absolutely loves and adores you. A lot of the guests, the party goers that were coming in were always, requesting me, where's Jenny? Where's Jenny? Is she hosting today? Blah, blah, blah. So he promoted me to manager. And I was just like, wow, even though it's Second Life, back then I was like, oh my God, like, I was honored. Like, nowadays, if a club owner came up to me and said, hey, you want to be a manager? I'd be like, nah, no thank you. But back then I was like, wow, oh my God, like, this is a huge honor. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And as far as the timing around that point in time, my husband had returned to work as he was doing a lot better. And he preferred that I quit my job and stay home with the kids and stuff like that, because at that point, for those of you who don't know, I have 3 daughters in real life. Yes, I'm doomed. Yes, all 3 of them are so absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous girls, and we're in so much trouble, it's not even funny. But anyways, at that point, 2 of them were toddlers, and my oldest daughter was going to school and stuff like that. So he preferred that I quit my job and stay home with the kids, and he would go back to work and provide. So I did. And obviously it enabled me more time to Second Life, as it does anybody who doesn't work in real life, So I was always working at the club. I mean, I was doing like 4 to 5 sets per day. I was even learning how to DJ at the time. I was, meeting new people. I was exploring more places, and I just became obsessed with Second Life. Like, Second Life literally became my second life. So, I managed the Isobar, I would say, for about a year, maybe a little bit longer. And I had this idea to start a company in Second Life. And back then, I was a huge fan of the show The Bachelor or The Bachelorette in real life. I still kind of am, but because it's more staged and scripted now, I don't really watch it as much. It's kind of gotten a little ridiculous. But I had an idea to start a company that would operate exactly as that show did. And I named it Soul Searchers. And we even had the mansion. I mean, we had the grounds. It was all a almost perfect replica of the mansion and the grounds and the scenes and everything from the actual show. And I brought in a really good friend of mine, Dusty, and she came in and partnered with me in the business, and she was half owner as well. She really liked the idea. And we ran that for, oh God, I don't even know, a good couple of months. At that time, it didn't really work out that great. Not nearly as good as I wanted it to, because a lot of people then, I think that they were confused about it. Even though we had a lot of information about it, and it was very well explained, very well put together, very well organized. I think people were skeptical. They were confused. We did get, contestants and stuff like that, but it wasn't as many as we thought it was going to be. So we ended up closing it. I actually still possess the groups for that business and all of the information and everything else. It's kind of funny because every once in a blue moon, I'll go back and read through it all, and it's like, oh my gosh, it just takes you back. So after we closed the doors on Soul Searchers, I decided to start my own club. Original, right? I mean, everybody and their mothers and brothers in Second Life had either done or had the idea of starting their own club at one point or another. I mean, come on now. Let's be honest with ourselves. But I started a club, and it was called Jenny's Dance Club. And it went strong for quite a few years. I would say 2 or 3 years. It went pretty strong. It was actually very well known at the time. And because I was becoming busy in Second Life, exploring other areas, like I was buying land and renting it out, and I was landscaping and doing all different kinds of things. I ended up giving the club to my to this day best friend / SL sissy, Charlotte, and she ran the club, and she did an excellent job, just as well as I did, if not better. And, at that time, I had Marcel back in my IM, and he was like, Jenny, I want to reopen Isobar, but I don't want to do it alone. Do you want to be partners with me in reopening Isobar? And I said, well, it's a really good idea. It was an awesome club, very well known. Let me think about it. Let me get back to you. So, I did, and I thought it was a great idea at the time, so I said, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it. And we reopened it, and we even started on the idea of creating an SL version of Mysteryland. And for those of you who don't know what Mysteryland is, it's basically an EDM festival that happens annually around the world. Like, at one point it was in upstate New York, and then at another point it was in Holland and Germany. I mean, it just hops around annually, and it's all EDM music just for a couple of days. It's like an EDM version of Woodstock. It's really, really cool. So we were talking about doing something like that for a while, and then we decided against it because we realized how much work it was going to take to keep something like that maintained. So we decided against it, and we decided not to do it. So we just basically ran the Isobar again for a while, and just had fun doing that. And eventually, me and Marcel had a little bit of a falling out. And again, guys, we are still friends to this day. Everything is fine now. But at the time, we had a falling out, and I walked away from the club. And I said, I'm not doing this anymore. And I reopened Jenny's as a beach club on a different sim. and the staff that was at Isobar, because the falling out that we had was, I can't say, yes, it was the fault of Marcel, but I don't want to make him look like a bad guy, like, you know, dude, you suck. Because it really was something that he regretted and he apologized for, and, you know, the staff, they were on my side because they knew the situation, they knew what was going on. So when I reopened Jenny's as a beach club, the staff from Isobar followed me and they started working for Jenny's instead. So, you know, I'm not really sure that I remember exactly how long I had Jenny's 2 running for, and that's actually what we used to call it, was Jenny's 2, because it was the second Jenny's club. I don't really remember for how long it was running for. It wasn't for very long. It was literally only for maybe 6 months, something like that. I don't know. But at the time, a good friend of mine, DJ Minna, I know a lot of you probably know who she is or has heard of her. She's an amazing DJ in Second Life, very well known. And a great friend of mine at the time, Cyrus, he and her were helping me out with managing the club. And I mean, it was going great. And at the time, me and Cyrus were working together on a clothing line for Jenny Love. So there was once an actual Jenny Love clothing line. I do not believe it exists anymore. We haven't spoken in years, so that's probably gone, which is understandable. But yeah, so when I had that club going, I also had my own clothing line going and things like that. So, you know, it was really, really cool. And I eventually, I closed Jenny's, but I can't remember why. I can't remember why I closed Jenny's. I want to say it's because my real life was just really hectic at the time. I was going through a lot at that time in my real life, and I found myself not logging into Second Life as much anymore. I don't know why. I mean, part of me knows why, but yeah, I was just going through a rough patch, and I found that staying more in real life rather than Second Life at that point in time would benefit me more as to doing the right thing, I should say. You know, because real life always comes first, guys, and the people in your real life always come first. Not that I ever regret anything that I've ever done in Second Life, because I absolutely do not. But, you know, I just... I had to be in real life at that time. I had to, I guess you can say, find myself again. Not that I was really ever lost, but I was confused. I was confused and I was scrambled, and I had to unscramble myself. So I found myself leering more away from Second Life, and I believe that is why the club ended up closing. I think I just let it go. I think I just stopped logging in, and I let the land expire, and everything got sent back to me, and that was pretty much it as far as that goes. You know, so again, I did take a little bit of a break from Second Life, a very tiny break. It wasn't that long. It was maybe like a month or two. You know, because I just again, I needed to put myself back together, and when I felt ready to jump back into Second Life, lo and behold, that is when I'll Be With You Weddings was started. And this was like in the summer of 2014. I would say August, September, probably August, that I logged back in and I started creating all of these different wedding venues and landscapes. And I was like, I really love doing this. And mind you guys, I have done... or not, I can't say done, but I have coordinated many weddings in real life for friends and families, and you know, not just my family, but other people's families. I mean, I have done quite a bit of wedding planning in my real life, and I've always been very, very good at it. Always naturally had a knack for it. The hustle and bustle of it, the organization of it, like I've always been able to juggle that very, very well, very naturally. So, you know, I decided, I said, you know what? I should do this in Second Life. Like, there are a few other companies in Second Life that do this. And back in 2014, I don't really recall how many full-service wedding agencies there were in Second Life. And the reason why I say full service is because there are many wedding agencies in Second Life, but not all of them do it all. You know, there's places that just do venue rentals, and there's places that, you know, you can go to, but it's an automated minister. You know, and then there's places that you can go to that only offer, you know, a service or two. But when I say full service, you know, like I'll Be With You Weddings, I'm talking about the whole package. I'm talking about the venue, the DJ, the officiant, the photographer, the cake, the invitations, the certificates, the flowers. I mean, you name it, everything, the full package. At that time, there wasn't very many. There was maybe like three or four of them. The two that I know that were the very, very well-known ones was Timeless Weddings and Starcrossed Weddings. And they were amazing. They were amazing companies, and they had the most gorgeous venues, and they were just absolutely professional, and everybody went to, you know, pretty much one of those two places. Like, other places weren't really, they didn't get as much service as those two places did. So I really looked up to Timeless Weddings and Starcrossed Weddings, and I think they also helped to inspire me to start my own wedding agency. So shortly after I made that decision, Marcel decided to marry a friend of mine, Kirsty. And they asked me to not only be in their wedding, but to help them plan it as well. So I did, and it took place on my land, and it went perfectly. It was just awesome, and I enjoyed it so much, and I got so many compliments. Wow, Jenny, you know, you did such a great job. They're so happy. Thank you so much for doing this for them, and you know, all that. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm definitely doing this. So, you know, I took a few months again, and I really put my heart and soul in creating venues and packages and information, and I mean everything. And and to this day, I have the notebooks. I even wrote everything down in notebooks before I typed them up in note cards on the computer or textures or whatever. I literally sat in bed night after night after night, and, you know, put my brain to work on, you know, the system that I was going to use and the information that I was going to put out there and what we were going to offer and how we were going to offer it and the wording and everything else. Everything that is involved with I'll Be With You Weddings is created by me. Everything that you see, the creation of the packages, the way they're put together, what is included, the way that they're listed, the wording, you know, the venue builds, the invitations, the cakes, the certificates. I mean, everything is created through my mind. Nothing is copied. We're going to talk about that in a second. So October 1st, 2014, which is almost 5 years from now, guys, I officially opened the doors on I'll Be With You Weddings. Now, let me put this into perspective for you. When I started this business, I started on a 1024 by 1024 piece of land. Okay? This tiny little piece of land. I had this little tiny shop. I had probably about 20 to 25 venues at the time that I had built. And I had pictures of the venues on the walls, and I had folders that were filled with different pictures of these venues because obviously they weren't rezzed. So, you know, I had to provide our customers with, you know, photos, as many photos as I could of the venues. Yeah, so we were doing it that way, and then whenever somebody wanted to get married, I would just res a platform and, you know, res the venue that they chose and customize it and whatever else. And, you know, I did this even 5 years ago, guys. So that was my original idea. So, you know, there are or were other agencies out there that had done the same thing. But what bothered me is they kind of walked around and acted like they were the only ones that had ever done that. And it's because after about 6 months my wedding business had flourished so much and so fast that I had to rent literally a full sim. It got to the point to where I had just, I would say, I don't know, 7 or 8 of my best venues rezzed at all times, either on the ground or in turnips domes or whatever, so that they could see them anytime they want. They could tour them whenever they want. Yes, we had set venues, but that does not mean that we did not customize these venues for our clients. All of the venues that I have ever had were created and built by me. I've never used prefab venues, and if I did, it was because of the customer's request. You know, we've always customized to the max, regardless of the request. We have always done it. There are other agencies out there that claim that we have not or do not, and that is very untrue. I don't know why they would say or think that. But, you know, I'll Be With You has done that even before a lot of the companies that are open today have ever done that. As of right now, I'll Be With You is the longest running full service wedding agency in Second Life. And we have a very high reputation, and I'm so, so, so proud and honored and blessed to be able to say that. I really, really am. So, you know, back when I first started, I didn't have a big staff. It was literally just me and a DJ. And I did the officiants ministry, I did the photography, I did the coordination of literally every single wedding. And like I said, I had a DJ who would DJ the weddings for me, but there was a few times where you know, I had to literally perform every single role at a wedding because I didn't have any staff on hand that could help me out with, you know, a few weddings. So I did it all, like all by myself for some weddings, and it was very, very frustrating, very exhausting, but very well worth it and very rewarding. I would have to say probably about 4 or 5 months after I had opened, an old friend of mine actually came and applied for a greeter job, to be a greeter and welcome wedding guests as they arrive and give them a gift and show them where the seating area is and stuff like that. And so I hired her for it, and she very soon after told me that she was a real life minister. So I said, well, I'm looking for a minister, you know, are you interested in that? And she said, yeah. So, you know, she was my minister for quite a while, and you know, we really hit it off, and we became really good friends, and we both realized that we were very much alike as far as how business should be ran, and how, you know, good teamwork should be. And I laugh because you'll find out in a little while, but you know, after a little while, I noticed how much dedication she had, and I asked her, I said, do you want to be a manager? Because I could really, really use somebody to help me out around here so I'm not doing everything myself. Of course she accepted, and, you know, over the course of almost 4 years, not quite 4 years, a little over 3.5 years, she worked for me. And, you know, she ended up taking almost a year off due to some real life circumstances, but you know, she came back, and we, you know, and I did too, by the way. I took a little bit of a hiatus because I was recently struggling through the depression of miscarrying twins. I was pregnant for twins and unfortunately lost them. So I kind of fell into a depression, and at the same time was going through some real life stuff. So we didn't close I'll Be With You, we just took a break. But we did, you know, we came back as soon as we could, and we picked up where we left off, and everything was going great. I mean, everything was going fantastic. I'll Be With You was the busiest wedding agency in Second Life, hands down. To be honest with you, still kind of is, which is awesome. And, you know, we've actually recently been picking up a lot more business, which is really good, probably because of the new system we have in place, which I can tell you guys about that in a minute as well. But yeah, so eventually I believe it's coming up on a year now. It'll be a year in a couple of weeks that has left I'll Be With You. I won't go into great detail, obviously. I'm sure that they wouldn't appreciate that I would. But I had a falling out with a real life boyfriend slash second life husband. And, you know, not going to get into that. Almost everybody I know has had a falling out with this guy. But it ruined, basically, it really ruined my relationship with and she left Second Life. And for some reason they were thinking, I don't know why they were thinking that I would not be able to handle it without her, but here I am a year later and I'm stronger than ever, guys. Stronger than ever. I have an amazing staff. Just so amazing. I can't even begin to put into words for you guys how absolutely amazing my staff is that I have right now. I am not the type of business owner that is keen on having a large staff. I prefer to keep my staff not small but not large either. You know, I keep the really dedicated professional ones around, and I don't play with, you know, the drama people and, you know, the unreliable people. I don't mess with that. I take my business very seriously. I don't hire any Joe Blow. You know, I really analyze somebody when I hire them. And you know, the staff that I have now, the majority of them anyways, have been with me for a year since and sister and second life husband had left I'll Be With You, but because, you know, he decided that they were gonna leave, they all left. So, you know, naturally. Yeah, so the crew that I immediately hired after that are still with me, you guys. They're still with me, and they're, oh God, they're so amazing, and they're just lifesavers. I wish I had them since the beginning, if I'm being completely honest with you. Now, I know I said before that I would get into that in a minute as far as quote unquote copying information or ways of doing things or packages or whatever through wedding agencies. You know, again, 5 years ago, you know, anything and everything that you see at I'll Be With You weddings was created by me. I did not copy anything from any other agencies. I have no interest of doing that, to be honest with you. That's like a sloppy second type of thing in my mind. Like, why would I want their way of doing things when I prefer my way of doing things? You know, I've always been a leader and not a follower. And, you know, my way is always the best way in my mind, just like it is in anybody's mind. You know, your way is always the best way. So recently, you know, and I'm not going to put out names, I'm just not, because that's just horrible. You know, I can tell my story, but I don't have to say who it was. But, you know, recently, back in June, I was approached by a customer that asked me if I was networked with another wedding agency here in Second Life. And I said, no. I said, why would you say that? And they sent me a folder of this other agency's packages. And I noticed that they were word for word just like mine, as if literally somebody copy pasted my packages to their packages for their wedding business. I was furious, you guys, naturally, because I mean, that's 5 years of hard work and dedication that came from me that somebody just takes from you, you know. And it's awful, and it's the worst feeling. It really is. And I confronted the owner. They, you know, I'm not going to get into too much detail. Of course, they denied it, but, you know, later on they did come forward and say, you know, I'm sorry. I realized that that was the case. We fixed it, you know, blah, blah, blah. So at least they apologized to it and I guess admitted to it. Not really admitted to it, but they did, I guess. I don't know. But, you know, I'm glad that they did. I really, really am. And I thank them for that. And I now respect them for that, because, you know, that takes some guts to admit when you're wrong or you've done something wrong or whatever. So, you know, if the person from that agency has happened to be watching this video, you know, thank you for that. Honestly, thank you for that. That was very mature of you. And as most of us know, there's not very many mature people left in Second Life. Second Life is like one big high school clique. It's disappointing at times. It really is. The massive amount of bullying in Second Life just for somebody's simple opinion is outrageous. Is completely outrageous and unbelievable and just crazy. I mean, I for one never really knew what that felt like in Second Life until recently when all of this went down that I just explained about the whole copying the packages and stuff like that. Shortly after I confronted them about it, I was attacked 2 weeks in a row on virtual secrets for the first time, like ever. And I was being sent private messages through Facebook with threats. I had posts being posted about me on Facebook, you know, negative, and I had messages coming through in Second Life with threats. You know, some of them were even posing as real life people to threaten my business and sue me. And then there was another person that was literally threatening my family. Like, this is how far this went. So not only did I not deserve to have my stuff stolen from me, but, you know, that was like a double whammy because I didn't deserve to be treated like that afterwards at all. The owner of that agency explained to me that it was a friend of hers that decided to attack me like that. Whether or not I want to believe that, I really don't know. But, you know, whatever. That's neither here nor there. It's in the past. It's done. You know, actually, because of me talking about it in this video, I would not be surprised if it happened again. Because that's how immature people are. And, you know, people just don't have a life. Seriously, like, they would rather go around destroying other people's lives rather than fixing their own. You know, that's why there's virtual secrets. You know, everybody who decides to post things in virtual secrets, it's just like, dude, get a life. Like, seriously, you know, it's ridiculous. Like, how are you grown or are you a child, you know? You know, and it's, you know, the harassments and the attacks and the bullying and whatever, it did stop. I did not retaliate, and I did not retaliate on purpose because it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. I am better than that, much better than that, and I will never stoop to that level, ever. I was told shortly after that another person that took hand in the virtual secrets bashing was the owner and the photographer from yet another wedding agency that is in Second Life. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised at that one because this specific agency, not the one that I confronted about copying my packages, this is a different one. I never did any harm to these guys ever at all. But for some reason, the owner has always had it out for me, and she's always showed it. She probably thinks that she didn't show it, but she did. And it's very plain to see. I've even had people message me and say, you know, this person said this about you and that about you. And, you know, even somebody that worked for this specific agency used to come to me and tell me, you know, things that were said about me and stuff. And, you know, bad things were even said about me to their clients. Like, so that's how immature some of these people are. And you know what? I just brushed it off, and I'm just like, whatever. Let them talk. Let them do what they got to do. If that's what they got to do to make them feel better about themselves, have at it. Honestly, I don't care. You know what? Because eventually, you know, when you look at that person and you look at me, you're definitely going to see a difference, and you're going to see why. You know, it's not me that has the issue, quite obviously. But, you know, when you have a successful business in Second Life and you are at the top of that ladder, anybody else that comes in after you and starts a business that is similar to yours are automatically going to try and compete with you. And I always encourage healthy competition, don't get me wrong, but there's a difference between healthy competition and just rude, nasty, jealous competition. And I'm not about that, guys. I am not at all. You know, so that's the the drama portion of my SL life since I have started the wedding agency. And but you know what? You moving forward and doing the things that they don't want you to do is what drives them the most insane. So keep doing you, guys. Seriously, keep doing you. And not everybody is like that. Not everybody, honestly, because there still are some people left in this world that, have morals and are humble and, have the ability to raise up other people and, raise up as in, praise them, and let them know that you think that they're awesome and what they do is awesome. And, you're not the only person in the world that does that. So, you know what I mean? Like, if you're out to only praise yourself and not other people around you, something is wrong, guys. Something is definitely wrong. So, being successful does take a lot of hits, and I have taken many hits, and I am ready to take as many more hits as it takes. It doesn't matter. I'm not going anywhere, at least not for a very long time. I love what I do, and, that's it. And as a matter of fact, we are in the midst of, making a big transition right now. I've actually been working on this over the last 4 or 5 months. But due to being so busy with real life and actual weddings and stuff like that, it's kind of been a slow process. But lately, the past couple of weeks, I have been getting a lot of it done. So basically what it is we're going to, instead of offering, 7 or 8 venues like we were before, because as I said, we had them rezzed at all times, I'm actually going to be offering many. And when I say many, you guys, I mean many more venues. We're going to be using a system that will allow the clients to come into the shop and look at all of the venues by rezzing them through a rezzer system, so that they can tour any venue that they want, even if there's 500 venues in there, guys. Instead of going online and just seeing a video of it, or waiting for the owner to come so that they can rezz it and stuff like that. They won't have to do that at all. They can rezz the venue. And no, the rezzer I use does not suck. It does not take 10,000 years to rezz an entire venue. The rezzer that I use is actually a very, very good rezzer. It can rezz a quarter sim size venue in under 2 minutes. So that's handy. And yeah, so we're starting on that, so we are able to offer our clients many more options. And now that I said that, it's like, oh God, I wonder who's gonna start doing that now. I shouldn't have said that. Duh, Jenny. So now that you've heard me say that, if any other agency starts doing that, you know where they got it from. But anyways, not that it matters. More power to them. Like I put in my profile, you can learn from the OG, but you cannot be the OG. And that's what I try to get people to understand. You can never be the person that you're competing with. You can learn from them, absolutely. Respectfully and humbly learn from them. But you can never be them. And I stand by that, and I very strongly believe in that, because of how many people in not just so much Second Life, but in the world, try to work so hard towards being just like another person, instead of trying to work so hard to be just like yourself. So here we are, guys. Here we are in Second Life, let me see, almost 15 years later, and this is where I am. I skipped out on a few of the other businesses that I once owned. I opened Oceano Amore restaurant a little over 2 years ago, and just recently I had actually handed it down to Grant Hollis. He was actually the manager. He was the general manager. He was managing the restaurant for me, excuse me. And I really didn't have time for that anymore, on top of the wedding business and all the other stuff that I had going on in real life. So I handed that down to Grant, and he very, very graciously and excitedly accepted. So Grant is now the proud owner of Oceano Amore Restaurant, and I'll Be With You Weddings does still network through Oceano Amore Restaurant. Some of our packages include rehearsal dinners or catered dining during our receptions, and stuff like that. So for those cases, we still do network with Oceano, Amore, and they still do offer that through I'll Be With You Weddings. So that didn't stop. So yeah, and as of right now, like I said, I am working really hard on transitioning to our new system that we're going to be doing, and you know, because we're doing you know, the whole reser system with offering more venues. Now when somebody chooses a venue, the venue will be resed and completely customized to the client's liking or choice on a completely private sim, like a full sim that is private. Like the wedding venue will be the only thing on the entire sim. So that's good, because the wedding won't be taking place on the sim anymore, that, you know, the shop is on and the restaurant is on and stuff like that. So, you know, traffic coming in and out for those things won't be lagging out or interrupting the wedding, because they'll be on a completely private sim. And last but not least, oh gosh, I want to talk about my YouTube channel, you guys. I actually started YouTubing for Second Life about a year ago. I did a few videos a year ago, and I don't know, for some reason I didn't think that it was for me. So I had the videos up for a little bit, and then I ended up taking them down, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this. I really don't think that this is for me. So about 4.5, 5 months ago, I said, you know what, I am going to do a wedding venue customization video, and, you know, see how people like that, you know, to see what a wedding venue looks like before and after type thing, while I'm customizing it for a specific couple. So I made a video of that, and I posted it to YouTube, and it got quite a few likes, quite a few responses, and I got so many subscribers from it. It was really weird. Not that it's a bad thing, because absolutely not. Absolutely not. I just didn't expect that. So I made another one, and that kicked off really well, and I said, okay, you know, I'm starting to enjoy this. I have all of these subscribers now, only after posting 2 videos. You know, I can't just leave them lingering there. I gotta keep making videos. So I kind of took myself outside of the wedding video realm and put myself in making videos to benefit people in Second Life, regardless of what it's about, as far as exploring and wandering different destinations in Second Life that are really cool and unique and creepy and things like that. I love doing that for you guys, so that you guys can see what is out there. And you know, like 50 Linden Friday videos, I absolutely love doing those, because anybody that knows me knows that I love to shop in Second Life, especially when things are on sale. I am a very frugal person, but you know, I have always done 50 Linden Friday shopping anyway, so I thought to myself, well, hell, you know, there's a few Second Lifers that make 50 Linden Friday videos, but there's not that many left, so maybe I should start doing that as well. And lo and behold, I got a really good response rate from that as well, so I just continued to do that. And you know, between running my real life and my wedding business in Second Life, and my YouTubing in Second Life, and all of that, I'm sure that you can imagine that I am probably one of the most busiest people you have ever seen. Seriously, like, I run around like a chicken with my head cut off from the time I wake up in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning until probably about 10, 11 o'clock at night when I go to bed. I'm a very busy person. Very busy person, but you know what? I love it. I love to stay busy. I hate being bored. Being bored drives me absolutely bonkers. I hate being bored. And I know that a lot of you already know that I do have a partner in Second Life, but my Second Life partner is my real life husband. So he's my Second Life husband, my real life husband, whom I have been with for 20 years, guys. 20 freaking years. Crazy. Well, 20 and a half years now. April 2nd will be 21 years, so craziness. I do have him as my Second Life partner, but he doesn't really log in that much. I'm lucky if he logs in like once a month. Seriously. He's a workaholic as well. He's always working, always staying busy. He works for a company in real life and also has his own business that is becoming extremely successful. To the point to where me and him are going to have to start traveling worldwide very soon. I'm very excited about that, and I can probably let you guys in on what type of business that is and stuff like that, perhaps in another video. But I feel like this video has gone on for long enough, guys. So again, that is my journey in Second Life on how I got to where I am today, and all of the hurdles that I had to jump, and all of the people that I had to push out of the way, and all of the drama and the bullying and you know, the attacks, and I mean everything that I had to endure to get where I am, and I am still here and stronger than ever, guys. And again, as I said before, I can only say that I am just very blessed in both Second Life and real life. I have an amazing real life, and I have an amazing Second Life, and I wouldn't trade either of them for the world. So there you have it, guys. My life in Second Life. And you know, if y'all have any questions about anything, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll answer them if I can. But otherwise, that's it. As I sit here and continue to file my nails, I bet you my nails are gone now. It's probably just nubs. I'm filing skin at this point, guys. Oh god, but anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, if you liked this video or any other of my videos, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel, and hit the little bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you are notified every time I upload a new video. Alright guys, until next time, remember, keep calm and love Jenny love, and I will see you guys next time.